Hello everyone, and Happy New Year 2026. Hopefully. Sorry for not getting this video done sooner. I just had a lot going on this month. But as promised, here is the new video of me going over some new art that I did not too long ago. For those of you who aren't aware, last year I did a video which basically had me going over art pieces of creatures I did on my off time. It was one of my better received videos, and I thought I may as well do a sequel. Please check out the link to the previous video if you want to check it out first. Now, since I did that video way back when, my art has improved a lot more. I want this channel to not just be all about art challenges. It's always about showing you can improve if you take the time to do so and being proud with the progress you made. Even if it's only just a little, progress counts. And in my opinion, this video is about that. It has some of my favorite art pieces that I probably have ever done, and probably have done so far this year. And I really want to show it to you all. Before we begin, I have some art available for purchase on Printify and Fourth Wall. Everything from hoodies, t-shirts, prints, and decorations even. Links are in the description below. I am also available for hire as a freelance artist on Behance, Upwork, and Artistry. Links to pricing and other info are in the description. And lastly, I recently published my first scary story collection, Sinister Scrawlings, on Amazon in December. It was a project that was a long time in the making, and I am really happy how it turned out. You can buy it as an ebook, paperback, or hardcover, though the Kindle is free, through the link below. I'm currently working on my next book right now. Expect more announcements in the near future. Now let's get to the stuff you are really here for. So starting right now, what we see here is just a few creature design thumbnails I did for a creature contest last year, which was pretty fun. But as you'll see right now, things get a little interesting because I wanted to expand my horizons as an artist. These ones here are just sort of me just getting the hang of values and just getting things more dimensional, because I really wanted, as with these things here, I really wanted to make my creatures not just, cool designs, but things that could actually pop out of a page. So it's really important that I get that sense of tangibility and physicality in there. After all, I really want to put these things into books and make them into fine art pieces. So it was really important that I get that bit down. The other thing too is you can see, just like in the last video I did, which again, link in the description, I want to make a variety of these creatures. I don't want to do the same types over and over again. Even if they have some traits which call to mind others that I did before, I still want them to be unique. I mean, we're making creatures, not being a copycat. So it's really important that, to me at least, that you make each of your creatures distinct from the other. So as we're going along here, you can see the variety is actually pretty good. I tried to have like a terrestrial creature, a flying creature, aquatic creature, and a humanoid creature, as well as a few others on each page. And this is just practice to get me warmed up creatively, make myself open to exploring new ideas, all that kind of good stuff. Just a close-up right there. Now this is where you start to see me getting to more like shading and values. And to be honest, at first I had a lot of difficulty just understanding this. I don't think in terms of light, I think in terms of anatomy and all that kind of thing. So for a few months, it was actually really hard for me to get it down. Also, you can see here I'm starting to think of more in terms of basic shapes, which yes, I went over in the past, but it wasn't as big of a deal as I made it as I did before, and right after this, to be as a matter of fact. So continuing on, we see a few more thumbnails, and this is where you really start to see me experiment with some of the more bizarre types of traits and physical things that animals would have, and putting them to my creatures. And this one here is sort of like a quick pen sketches. Bobby Rebels on his draw sessions really hammers home with that sort of deal. Again, right here, just some creature design stuff, thumbnails mainly, just for creative practice. And also you can see I'm starting to incorporate different angles where I can show the creature not just as a side profile view thing, but also in a 3D kind of way. For example, playing with the angles, having it more face forward. Sometimes they be behind us. Left part right there showed some stuff. And these ones here, this is really, really cool. These were done on Halloween. Basically because since I was in a scary mood, I decided to create the freakiest creatures I could imagine, which was super neat because I was listening to supposedly true scary stories on YouTube, which is one of my favorite pastimes, and those were really cool. And this is where I can really, and you can see here, the experimentation in different traits and anatomies and all that stuff really came through here. This last page here is one of my personal favorites. Now we're getting to the real stuff here. This is a Sasquatch I drew, not actually during the last part of 2025. I stumbled across a very talented artist, Jennifer Delaney. You can see her links in the description here down below, and she does really good black and white art. And when I saw her art at a farmer's market that year, it was like a light just came on, and I wanted to do that well. So that was the Sasquatch bit. This is the Kraken bit. The Kraken picture I did here. This is the one I'm actually one of the ones I'm the most proud of. You really get to see a lot of dimensionality and shading and details in there. And both these are on Printify. Again, not to plug it, but I thought I'd mention it right there. This next piece was really cool because this was when I really started to think about how can I put these creatures in a, not just as design exploration, but as a means of putting illustrations to paper. So that's one. This is a sort of like a land version of that here. Again, pretty neat. I don't like this one as much as the underwater bit, but it still has some good parts. Here are some more quick pen sketches. Again, I was just watching one of Bobby Rebels' videos. It's a pretty neat experiment. Some more here. You may or may not see more of these as we go on, but this is just sort of me to learn how I can draw. Oh, there is actually more. This is just so I could get the feel of how to draw well with a pen, because for the longest time I was a very staunch supporter of no pencils only. Do I like what we're seeing here with these creatures here? Mainly because I always would make a mistake with pen, and it frustrated the hell out of me. It really did. And I remember one time in elementary school where I tried to draw with a pen and I just started messing up, and I basically kind of rage quit right then and there. And yeah, it was not the most fun of times. Again, here's sort of a picture of a Nessie lake monster type of deal, going more into shading and values. This one is actually my first attempt at a Sasquatch, ironically enough. This is a Yeti, which I still intend to do. This one is not necessarily my favorite, but there are some parts here that I don't mind. These monsters here are just sort of among the very first, value sketching that I tried to do. These are overall a mixed bag, but it's kind of neat looking back at what you did beforehand and where you are now. This one here is my favorite. This is sort of like a dinosaur creature-like leg that I decided to do, and I really got the shading and the values down here. You can really tell where the light is coming on and the shadow play and all that good stuff. These are sort of more like shading value thumbnails, sort of like a weird combination that I was trying to do. A bunch of these aren't really that shabby, but they could still be better. Not much to say about these guys, just really early shading. I made them a lot of these I made too dark, and I wanted to really be careful about making the light and shading, make sense. These ones aren't too bad. And these ones are actually some of my favorites. These are sort of refined creature sketching, but, making sure that they're actually more 3D and have a more tangible sense, if that makes any kind of sense whatsoever. So more of these here. Pretty good. I like the first one here and the last three on the right of the page there the most. These are sort of like lake monster stuff, lake monster sketches with the same refined technique that I did before. Just some more critters here. All that. So far you already see like a pretty good progression of of my style as an artist. Just some more here. I will say I like number 2 and number 5 on this page a lot better. They just seem to have the best distinct look. Now this is where I really started to get the hang of light plays and values with this kind of shark creature. This one is personally one of my favorites, as well as this dragon griffin, this alien type critter right here. This one is sort of like an alien carnivore. This is sort of like a demon minotaur-ish kind of creature with a lion's tail. Another cool one. This is like a centaur demon that I kind of came up with. And yeah, really, this is when I really started to get the hang of shading and stuff. Now this is one of my new favorites. This is the griffin, and personally, this is probably one of the best pieces I have done yet so far. At first I was trepidatious on doing an eagle type creature because I could never get the head and the beak ratios right. So I had to be really careful, but once I got this, everything just flowed. This is still a work in development, and I also really liked how I put in the motion and the detail into the mountains there. This is actually for a sea serpent, sea monster book that I'm writing. So this is a pretty cool piece. This is for a sea serpent type creature that's reported off the Oregon coast named Colossal Claude. And these right here are just sketches I did over the holidays and all that sort of stuff. Some of them are good, like these. Like I really like these sort of water cryptid sea monster type designs that I did here. Others I think could be better, but overall you can start to see how I'm starting to get better with how much pressure I'm putting on with the strokes, my design sense, making them feel like a living, breathing thing instead of just like a cool drawing. Nothing wrong with those, but And then there's this sea serpent. This is one of the absolute best I've done thus far. I've shown this to several people, and they have all told me that, wow, you have really come a long way with this. And I agree with them. The shading and the lighting is great with that one. This one is kind of neat. This is sort of like a sea monster dragon Nessie thing that I kind of came up with on the fly. Now, when I first started with this, I had no idea how this is going to turn out. This is just sort of me just making sure that my art is refined, my pencil strokes were good, all that stuff. This is for a cryptid book I have planned down the line about, lake creatures in British Columbia, which includes Ogopogo, which I actually live not too far away from, actually. So this one I quite like. This next one here is sort of like an alien herbivore grazer kind of thing. I sort of include like a bit of mammal, dinosaur, and insect traits. This one was really cool, and you can notice at the top of the page where I show that there's like a circle where the sun is, and then there's like the rays of the light, all that kind of stuff. Another lake creature drawing I kind of did, just as an experiment. Nothing to say really for this one. Just, again, sort of like a what-if drawing I kind of came up with when I was drawing one night. More lake creature pictures. You can really start to see me get a much better control of my pencil. The strokes aren't necessarily as dark. They're also a lot more refined. And you can see that with this one here. This is sort of like another illustrative picture of made-up aquatic creatures that I did one night. And this is actually one of my new recent favorites. I know I've been saying a lot, but a bunch of these more refined sketches have become probably my personal favorites of all time, just because of how illustrative they feel and all that kind of stuff. You can see a little bit that with this one here. So moving on to the last part here, you can really start to, as I said before, the difference between what I'm doing now and what was doing last year, as a lot of you can probably tell already, is pretty much night and day. My drawings are now a lot more illustrative. The creatures actually pop out of the page more. There's actually some dimensionality. There's a lot of light and shadow interplay. I have a lot more of the fine details down. Like the top left lake monster picture here is a really good example. Some of these are not too bad either. This is when I kind of ran into a bit of a rough patch, a little bit of artist block, so I don't really count these here, but, part of the artist journey is, going through rougher times and just finding yourself new and improved at the end of it all. And again, some exploration with designs, with looser pencils. So at the end of the day, what I really wanted to show you this because it is possible for you to, because I wanted to give encouragement to other artists who were in my position a year ago and thinking, geez, my art sucks, I have no talent, what do I do? Believe me, I've been where you've been at. It's not fun. Just know, however, that things can get better. And as you can see right here, things have gotten better for me. What I've been doing is pretty much night and day. So. Well, that was quite the improvement in art, wasn't it? Really, one of the big reasons I love doing art in the first place is because each day, no matter if I have a rough day or a day that's going really smoothly, I notice that there are always some improvements to what I do. And it's just so satisfying to see that you're getting better as an artist. And I hope you, dear viewer, enjoyed the pieces as much as I had doing them for your viewing pleasure. Thank you so much for watching this video.